Right now, tonight, while you're lying in bed, your body either launches one of the most powerful biological repair operations in all of human physiology, or it doesn't. And the difference between those two outcomes doesn't come down to your genes. It doesn't come down to how old you are. It comes down to one molecule, one signal that most people are unknowingly dismantling every single evening before they even close their eyes. People who optimized this one molecule reported sharper thinking within 14 days, reduced inflammatory markers in 30 days, and measurably slower biological aging, confirmed by telomere length studies, within 90 days. The molecule? You probably know its name, but I promise you, you do not know what it actually does. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will permanently change the way you think about the night. Welcome to VitaWave. I'm Dr. Elias Site, and if you're new here, this is the place where we operate by one core belief. Health is not a destination, it's a rhythm you learn to ride. We don't just treat symptoms, we decode your biological waves to turn back the clock from the inside out. That word, rhythm, is everything in today's conversation because the molecule we're talking about is not a sleep supplement. It is not something you take when you can't fall asleep on a Sunday night after too much coffee. It is the conductor of your entire biological orchestra. It is the signal your body has been waiting for every single night to begin the work of rebuilding you. Its name is melatonin, and today we are going to completely rebrand it. Beyond the sleep myth, challenge the outdated view, introduce melatonin as the master circadian conductor. Here's the problem with everything you have been told about melatonin. For the last 2 decades, we've filed it under one category, sleep supplement. Something mild, something you grab at the pharmacy for jet lag, something your grandmother takes in a gummy form. 10 milligrams, maybe 20. More is better, right? Wrong. Dangerously, frustratingly wrong. Because here is what the science actually says. Melatonin is not a sedative. Your body doesn't produce it to make you drowsy. It produces it as a master biological signal, a message sent from the pineal gland deep in the center of your brain that broadcasts one critical instruction to every organ, every cell, every mitochondrion in your body. It is now safe to repair. Think about what that means. Every single night, if the conditions are right, your body receives that broadcast and initiates a cascade, a full system restoration protocol. Your brain begins clearing toxic waste. Your heart rate stabilizes into a protective rhythm. Your immune system deploys its most specialized cells. Your cells begin identifying and recycling damaged proteins like a microscopic cleaning crew. This is not passive sleep. This is active biological maintenance at the most sophisticated level nature has ever designed. But here's where it gets urgent and where most people go wrong. Your body's ability to produce this signal properly is exquisitely fragile. It can be disrupted in minutes, and the modern world we live in is designed almost perfectly to disrupt it every single night. We'll get to exactly how that's happening to you in just a moment, but first, you need to understand what's actually possible when this system is working at full capacity, because once you see it, you will never look at your evenings the same way again. The master antioxidant at work, the brain, the mitochondria, cellular cleanup, the science of nightly restoration. Let's start with your brain. And let's start with a fact that frankly should be on the front page of every health publication on Earth. Your brain produces toxic waste as a byproduct of normal daily thinking. Every time you solve a problem, process a memory, feel an emotion, neural metabolism generates byproducts, including a protein called beta amyloid, which, when it accumulates, is directly linked to neurodegenerative disease. Your body has a system for clearing this waste. It's called the glymphatic system, essentially a pressurized fluid network that washes through the brain during deep sleep, flushing out that toxic debris like a pressure washer on a highway.
And the trigger that fully activates that glymphatic flush? You already know the answer. It's the melatonin signal arriving with enough strength and at the right time. But here's what makes melatonin genuinely extraordinary. It doesn't just coordinate the cleanup from the outside. It crosses the blood-brain barrier directly. It enters your neurons, and once inside, it acts as one of the most potent antioxidants your body possesses, scavenging free radicals at the cellular level that vitamin C, for all its virtues, cannot even reach. And then, and this is where it gets deeply fascinating, there is the process of cellular autophagy, a word that literally translates from Greek as self-eating, but is actually the most elegant form of cellular housekeeping you can imagine. During proper melatonin-driven deep sleep, your cells don't just rest, they actively identify damaged proteins, malformed cellular structures, and precancerous changes. They tag them, they dismantle them, they recycle the raw materials for new, clean cell construction. This is your body's nightly anti-aging software running its deepest update. The 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded specifically for the discovery of this autophagy mechanism. It is not fringe science, it is Nobel-recognized biology, and it runs, or fails to run, based almost entirely on the quality of your melatonin signal each night. That is not a sleep supplement. That is a longevity architect. Now, let's talk about what 2026 research is showing us, and some of this data is genuinely moving the needle on how longevity medicine thinks about sleep. A landmark study published earlier this year tracked 3,400 adults over 18 months, measuring melatonin metabolite levels against several immune biomarkers. The finding was striking. Individuals with consistently optimized melatonin production, not supplemented, naturally produced, showed significantly higher T cell counts and measurably improved natural killer cell activity compared to those with disrupted circadian patterns. In plain language, your immune system's first line of defense against viruses, abnormal cells, and early-stage cellular mutations is directly tied to how well your melatonin signal fires each night.
And then there is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now considered by most longevity researchers to be the root driver of nearly every major age-related disease: cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, even certain cancers. We now call this phenomenon inflammaging, the slow, silent burn of a dysregulated immune system that has lost its rhythmic calibration. Melatonin, when produced correctly and at the right times, acts as a direct regulator of inflammatory cytokines, the molecular messengers that, when left unchecked, drive that chronic burn. It doesn't suppress inflammation entirely. Your body needs acute inflammation to heal. It regulates it. It keeps it rhythmic, on when needed, off when the job is done. This is what it means to decode your biological waves. Now here's the piece that most people haven't heard yet, because the research only consolidated recently. Your biological age, not the number on your birth certificate, but the actual cellular age of your tissues as measured by methylation clocks, is significantly influenced by cumulative circadian consistency. People who have maintained regular, high-quality circadian rhythms over decades show measurably younger biological tissue age than those with chronically disrupted sleep patterns, even when every other health variable is controlled for. Diet, exercise, genetics, the circadian factor showed up independently. Your body keeps a clock, and whether that clock runs true or runs ragged determines more than almost any other single variable how fast or how slowly you age. Modern disruptors and rhythmic decay. Blue/green light, social jet lag, late-night eating, and the supplementation trap. So if this system is so powerful, so elegantly designed, why are so many people waking up exhausted, inflamed, cognitively foggy, and biologically older than their years?
Because we have built a modern life that violates nearly every condition melatonin needs to be produced correctly. Let's start with light, because this is the most misunderstood disruptor. Most people know blue light before bed is bad, but the mechanism is more precise than that. Your pineal gland begins releasing melatonin in response to darkness, specifically in response to the absence of light in the 480 nanometer blue and 507 nanometer green wavelength ranges. These wavelengths are detected by specialized photoreceptor cells in your retina called iPRGCs, intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells that send a direct neural signal to suppress melatonin production. Your phone screen, your laptop, your LED overhead lights, your television, every single one of these emits peak emissions in exactly those wavelength ranges. When you spend your evening bathed in that light, even at moderate brightness, your brain receives a continuous signal that it is still midday. Melatonin production is suppressed. The repair cascade doesn't begin. The glymphatic flush is compromised. The autophagy cycle runs shallow. You fall asleep, but you don't actually repair. Then there is what chronobiologists call social jet lag, the growing epidemic of people whose work schedules, social lives, and screen habits push their sleep timing 2, 3, even 4 hours past their body's natural melatonin window every weekend, every late night, every inconsistent wake-up time. Your circadian clock recalibrates slowly. It takes days to shift even a single hour. Social jet lag is biologically equivalent to crossing multiple time zones every single week, with all the immune suppression, metabolic disruption, and cognitive impairment that entails. And finally, late-night eating. This one surprises people, but food intake, particularly carbohydrate-rich food, signals insulin release, which directly competes with and blunts melatonin production. Eating within 2 to 3 hours of your intended sleep time reduces melatonin output at exactly the moment your body needs it most. And about those high-dose supplements, here's the uncomfortable truth the supplement industry won't tell you. The physiological concentration of melatonin your brain uses as a signal is between 0.1 and 0.3 milligrams. The typical over-the-counter dose is 5 to 20 milligrams, 50 to 100 times the functional dose. Flooding your receptors with that kind of concentration doesn't amplify the signal, it desensitizes your receptors over time. It disrupts natural production feedback. It creates the very hangover fog that millions of people blame on poor sleep quality without ever connecting it to the pill they took the night before. More is not always more. In biology, timing and precision are everything. Your protocol for Melatonin Mastery, the step-by-step evening protocol, smart supplementation, and living in sync with your biology. So here's what we do about it, and I want you to understand this is not about perfection. This is about rebuilding the rhythm, one evening at a time. Step 1. The light transition, 90 minutes to your target sleep time. 90 minutes before you plan to sleep, begin shifting your light environment. This doesn't mean sitting in complete darkness. It means removing overhead LED lighting and switching to warm spectrum light sources, amber bulbs, salt lamps, candles, anything below the 480 nanometer threshold. If screen use is unavoidable, use a blue light filtering app like Flux or enable night shift, but understand this only partially mitigates the issue. Your most powerful move is distance and reduction, not filtration. Step 2. The temperature signal. Your core body temperature needs to drop approximately 1 to 1.5 degrees Celsius to initiate deep sleep. You can accelerate this by keeping your bedroom cool. Between 16 and 19 degrees Celsius is optimal for most people, or by taking a warm bath or bath 60 to 90 minutes before bed. The rapid cooling of your body surface after a warm bath actually accelerates core temperature drop through vasodilation. Step 3. The feeding window. Close your eating window at least 2 to 3 hours before sleep. This is primarily not about digestion. It is about removing the insulin signal that competes with melatonin release. A small exception, a light tryptophan-containing snack, walnuts, a small amount of tart cherry juice, or warm herbal tea with ashwagandha can actually support melatonin precursor pathways. Step 4. Consistency as the master variable. Of every intervention I can offer you, this is the one with the strongest, most consistent evidence base. Wake up at the same time every day. Not sleep at the same time. Wake at the same time. This anchors your circadian clock, ensuring that melatonin rises and falls on a predictable biological schedule that becomes more potent and precise over time. On supplementation, the 2026 guidelines. If you choose to supplement, current evidence supports microdosing between 0.1 and 0.5 milligrams, taken 30 to 60 minutes before your target sleep time. This mimics physiological concentrations rather than overriding them. For jet lag or circadian disruption recovery, a slightly higher dose of 0.5 to 1 milligram for 3 to 5 nights is supported.
Beyond that, the diminishing returns are real, and the receptor desensitization risk climbs. Look for pharmaceutical-grade melatonin with third-party testing verification. Extended-release formulations may better mimic natural nocturnal profiles for those with early morning waking issues. The compound result: what you're building. When you align your evenings with your biology consistently over weeks and months, you are not just improving your sleep score, you are fundamentally changing the operating conditions of your body. Your glymphatic system clears more efficiently, your telomeres shorten more slowly, your T cells respond more decisively, your inflammatory burden decreases, your metabolic efficiency improves, your cognitive clarity, the kind you remember having in your 20s, begins to return, not as a miracle, as a biological inevitability, because you have finally given your body the conditions it was designed to thrive under. I want to leave you with one image, and I want you to carry it with you tonight. Every night, somewhere in the center of your brain, a tiny gland the size of a pea waits for the darkness to arrive. When it does, when the light fades and the conditions are right, it sends a signal, a single elegant molecular broadcast that your 37 trillion cells have been waiting for all day. That signal says, "You're safe now. Begin the work." Your body knows exactly what to do after that. It has always known. The only question is whether we give it the conditions to do it. That is what VitaWave is about. Not chasing shortcuts, not stacking supplements, restoring the rhythm. Decoding the biological waves that already run inside you and learning, night by night, to let them do their extraordinary work. And subscribe. Health is not a destination, it's a rhythm you learn to ride. Tonight, let's start riding it right. If this changed how you think about your biology, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go further, our next episode decodes the second great circadian hormone, cortisol, and why its morning rhythm determines everything about your energy, mood, and immune resilience throughout the day. That one drops next week. Don't miss it. I'm Dr. Elias Site. This is VitaWave, and I'll see you in the next wave.